Okay, hello, party people. So, yeah, this is going to be ow. There's a sharp point on that. I'm going to have to fix that. So, my mic arm bit me. Great. If it's radioactive, I'll turn into Mike Boom Man. Cool. Anyway, it is in fact Fandom Friday. I hope you're all doing well. So, yeah, we're going to talk about that Aztec Batman trailer and a few other things. But before I get to the Batman trailer, I'd like to just excuse me. I just want to cover a poll I ran over the last, I believe, week, 4 days, and there are generally new polls up every now and again. I'll try to keep doing the fandom ones because those are very enjoyable and they get great interaction. So this week's poll, why are you not showing? There we are. Okay. Which would you rather be an active... Oh, piss off. I don't want to... Thank you. There we go. Which would you rather be an active combatant during? An alien invasion, a zombie outbreak, a vampire uprising, or fairy revelation? Now, that may have been mildly confusing to some people. Basically, the idea that fairies actually reveal themselves to be real, with all the good and bad that might entail. So, I only got, 12 votes, which is fine. I didn't really expect a lot. I don't get huge engagement on X, though I am over 960 followers, so dear gods, thank you all for that. But the majority of people who did vote prefer Zombie Outbreak, and I have to admit, I'm in that category myself. My friend Yiz said a Vampire Uprising because she wanted to be a vampire, which is fair. I did assume that from her avatar, as it does have fangs, I assumed it was a vampire avatar in the first place, but apparently it's some form of Therian. Actually not a vampire, but similar aesthetic. And as I said, I see Fang, I assume vampire. More like a werewolf. Okay? And my friend the Shade Master, our friend the Shade Master, said he too would not flinch at the prospect of going higher up the food chain, which I assume means he also would not mind being a vampire. I can understand where they're coming from. Vampires do seem rather cool. However, I'm also acquainted with the folklore versions of vampires. No. Not interested. I'll take a zombie outbreak anytime. In fact, I was extremely pissed off about the whole cock blocking of the zombie outbreak that turned out to be a severe cold about 5 years ago. Anyway, let's... I really don't want to have to watch this again. And I won't watch the entire thing because, well, Warner Brothers and copyright. So here's the trailer. I will play a portion of it. I'll give you some sound. I think it's here.
My son, when you take my place, it'll be your duty to always be ready for battle.
Okay, so we have a loving father. Sure we do. Anyway, of course, it all starts off with this. It starts off with, of course, the reveal of Aztec Batman, because why wouldn't you reveal the important, the hero who we've never seen before right away in the trailer? Because that makes sense. And, of course, Warner Brothers, DC. And, yeah, it's such a prosaic and peaceful place. Totally divorced from the actual Aztecs who were practicing, ritual sacrifice sadistically for centuries. Before, of course, the evil white man showed up. Yeah, the guy who showed up and said, no, I'm sorry, the human sacrifices must stop. Yeah. But, and of course, then we have another issue I have with this, and I will speak more about this later. I have an entire essay that I've written for a space later today. But one of the other issues I have with this is Camazotz. Camazotz was a Mayan deity. Yes, he was adopted into the Aztec pantheon, and yes, he did have human sacrifices committed, is I think the best word for it, in his name. But, yeah, not originally Aztec, so questionable. And, of course, we have some action. I mean, the animation, it does look nice. DC has been very much beautiful animation style this whole time. Until we come to the Joker. Yeah. And there's even a poison ivy in here somewhere that I'm not going to go out of my way to find it. Yes, neon colors, very reminiscent of Aztecs. And what is... Yeah. And of course, you know, why wouldn't he somehow manage to create a hang glider that's shaped like a bat in the Aztec world? Anyway, yeah, it's all just bullshit. It's absolutely terrible. It's either another excuse to be anti-white and make the white man the villain, which reminds me of the Woman King movie, where the ever so peaceful and agriculturally minded Dahomey had to defend themselves against the French who were coming to stop their fucking slave trade. Yeah, funny thing, people forget stuff like that. Anyway, I don't want to dwell on that because, it looks like shit. And, I will retract that statement. It doesn't look like shit, but I'm willing to bet it is written like it. Anyway, the important thing today is the legend of Sha'a. For those of you who are completely unfamiliar, this is a very short clip from Genndy Tartakovsky's Clone Wars, Star Wars The Clone Wars from 2003, which personally I think is superior to any other animation that's been put out since in the Star Wars universe. Although I will point out that the art style here is somewhat reminiscent of the old Droids and Ewok cartoons, which is interesting. And I'll have to make a note, now that I'm thinking about it, to have a look at those cartoons later, just to see if I'm wrong about my thinking about that style. But the coloration and such does look very similar. Anyway, short clip. We'll get the entire career of Sha'a on screen. Oh, I need to give you the... Let me just back that up so that you guys can actually hear it. Poor guy, if only he'd had a dog to keep him company. Yes, it is in fact that kind of crossover character. And I will apologize, I did accidentally leave the desktop audio off while I was playing that clip from Aztec Batman. I suspect you guys will have heard it through the mic anyway. If not, I do apologize. And if you heard an echo while it was playing because I had the mic left on, let me know, because that's a pointer I need to actually improve how I'm doing this. So, from Wikipedia, Sha'a, this is the end. We're all doomed. Sha'a during the Battle of Hypori, which we were just watching. We'll listen to that real quick, if we can.
This is the end. We're all doomed.
Sha'a was a human male who served as a Jedi. Yes, he was a Jedi Padawan during the Clone Wars. Born on the planet Ord Benir as a child, his force sensitivity was discovered by Jedi Master Dokman Barak. Taking Gi as his Padawan, Barak accompanied him to Coruscant so that the youth could begin his training as a Jedi. During his training, Gi was less than proficient in the martial skills of the Order, but excelled in computer system operation. As a result, he aspired to work in the archives after passing his trials. Yeah, so he didn't want to be a fighter. Which, okay, fair. Gi and his master formed an effective partnership, gathering intelligence and disrupting pirate activity throughout the Outer Rim territories. When the Clone Wars broke out in 22 BBY, Gi and Barak continued their intelligence-gathering operations and discovered a CIS droid factory in operation on the planet Hypori. Barak called in a Republic task force to destroy the factory, but the reinforcements were ravaged by orbital mines, and the entire force crashed onto the surface of the planet. Gi and Barak regrouped with several Jedi survivors. Surrounded by droid forces, Barak was killed by the leader of the droid army, a cyborg called General Grievous. As the remaining Jedi took cover in the wreck of a downed Acclamator-class assault ship and waited for Grievous to engage them in battle, Gi, overcome by fear and the loss of his master, panicked and rushed out into the open, where he was killed by Grievous. Yeah, it's a bit of a shame. But early life, we just talked about pretty much his entire career. But death, it's all around us. Yeah, if you haven't seen Tartakovsky's Clone Wars, Volume 1 and Volume 2, you are missing out. It is some of the best Star Wars content ever made, as far as I'm concerned. Powers and abilities: young Padawan, trained to knighthood, trained to use a lightsaber, blah, blah, blah. Had a green lightsaber, which made him, if I recall correctly, a consular, though that may have changed. It's been some time since I played the Knights of the Old Republic games, and I think their definitions, their classifications for lightsaber colors and things may have changed. Or the canon of it may have changed thanks to Disney. Fucking Disney. In the audio commentary included on the Star Wars Clone Wars Volume 1 DVD, director Genndy Tartakovsky states that the human Jedi featured in Chapter 20 was inspired by the character Shaggy Rogers from the Scooby-Doo cartoons. So, reincarnation is real, and Scooby, or at least Shaggy, got to come back. Or, well, I guess Shaggy would have been the comeback. Initially, Tartakovsky wanted the Jedi to have more of a high-pitched voice like Shaggy. Like, zoinks, dude! However, Tartakovsky realized that the voice didn't fit and became too goofy. The character was simply listed as Padawan in the end credits of the Clone Wars Volume 1, but soon received the name Sha'a when StarWars.com added the character to its databank. Sha'a was voiced in a single appearance in the Clone Wars cartoon by John DiMaggio. He made an appearance as a hero unit defending Hypori for the Galactic Republic in the turn-based strategy game Star Wars Battle for the Republic, released by THQ for cell phones in November 2005. I wonder if that game's still available. 2005 mobile strategy game. Never been a big fan of mobile strategy games. What ad are you trying to show me? Wikipedia? Fuck off. Set during the Clone Wars, allows the player to play as either the Confederacy or the Republic. That sounds interesting. Gameplay. Grid of squares. Credits, appearances. Okay. So, that's... excuse me. That's the video for today. I will do a short recitation of the essay I've prepared for the space later, after I've presented it in the space. And other than that... I will be doing up a new ad to go at the end of these. It will feature all of my designs that are available over on Redbubble. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, I do have to ask a favor. Please at least like, if not share and comment on this video. YouTube has decided they're changing the way that views are counted, or what's the term? They've changed the formulation for how something counts as a view. Now, if you don't actively interact with something you're watching, because who does that, it doesn't count as a view. So, yeah. I don't know if it counts against my view count if you dislike something I post. But in any case, I never expected to get monetized by YouTube anyway, so view count is relatively irrelevant, but I would like to at least know that some people are interacting with it. Other than that, I hope you're doing well. I hope you continue to do well. I'll see you tomorrow for the usual Saturday chill stream, and I will post the audio of my That Is No Batman essay later. Other than that, I hope you're doing well. I hope you continue to do well. I know I said it already. And as always, rise and rise again until lambs become lions. Bye-bye. Hello, party people. So I'm attempting to make a go of this whole content creation thing, and I could really use your support, either monetary or, just moral. Though by moral I mean please like and share, comment, send it out to your friends, your frenemies, your family, and your foes. In any case, another way you can support me, and I am changing my merch store over to Fourth Wall, which is why it still says Redbubble in the bottom. You also have the option to send me a tip on Ko-Fi. But in the meantime, until I get the fourth wall up, sorted, ready to go, I will be keeping the Redbubble store open for a little while. Some of the designs that are in the Redbubble store will not be repeated on fourth wall. In fact, I am considering moving to a somewhat more limited run sort of system for some of these designs. Some of them cease to be topical after a while. I still have a number of the, let's call it the disease with no name designs. In any case, I do appreciate any support you guys give me, even if it is simply sharing it or even liking and commenting. Every comment I see, I will respond to. Other than that, as always, I hope you're well and continue to be well. Rise and rise again until lambs become lions. Bye-bye.